Good Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas on this September 10th. Thanks for joining us on our all streaming platform. So we got things lined up, tracking a few sprinkles for you out there today. So we have some folks on. I'll give you guys a shout out. Let's start with the pollen counts. I'll take these full. Of course, we're moving into what I call our second allergy season. Good morning to you, Dale, running in, watching from the east side. And we got trace of rain. Yes, William, on the east side. We did have a little bit of rain. We're going to do some nowcasting here on Doppler. And on Doppler in a moment. Esther, good morning to you. All right, let me hit the buttons here. We're in that medium to high category overall. The ragweed and the grasses are running in the medium to high category. We get our information, glean our information here from pollen.com. And as we take a sky vision look over into Owensboro, and then into Spencer County, we've had a few sprinkles there and showing a little bit of sunlight there. So we talked about, let me know if you see a rainbow today, because we are tracking some showers. Very early this morning, we picked these up on the radar. So I introduced just a 20% chance of a spotty shower till about 9 this morning. And then this will taper off, and then we'll see some sunshine as we go to the afternoon. We have multiple cloud decks between about 4,000 and 8,000 feet. So we do have cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. I think I had the cloud deck pushed up. Highway 56, you get out towards St. Joe, Curdsville, back out south there of West Louisville, Sargo Elementary Schools, and then some returns there. Santa Claus up towards Heritage Hills, you've seen a good shower there in progress. Well, look, we have some burn bans in effect. They're now in effect for Spencer County, also for Grayville, and then also as you work down through Norris City. More will follow. So follow those local ordinances. And from Whitesville out near the maze there, and then northwest of Fordsville, a little shower even up to 657. Temperatures weren't quite as cool. We did bottom out at 59 this morning. We do have generally cloudy skies. Temps are in the 60s. Clouds have filled in Greenville because you guys were at 56. So we do have some cloud layers out there. And the dew point is at 59. Monday and Tuesday, dew points were in the 40s, so up a little bit, but reasonable. Here's the cloud chart. So we have multiple cloud decks up there currently, and then they'll thin out to partly sunny skies. So generally we have overcast skies. Mentioned low to mid-level clouds out there. All right, let's take a look at these 6 and 10-day outlooks out towards the 20th. And if I don't have it queued up here, the 14-day outlooks have us guided above normal temperature-wise. And precipitation in the short term is going to be below normal. And we're abnormally dry, and then we do have the moderate drought-like conditions. Evansville, Henderson, Owensboro, seen Jeff Arden have pointed this out. And this probably will increase. Last September, we had extreme drought-like conditions. It was bone dry. We've had so much precipitation, but it's been fairly quiet since late July. Here's the latest guidance, a sprinkle or two into the afternoon, those spotty showers. So a 20% chance this morning, then a 1 in 10 chance as we go to the afternoon. It's not going to rain out any of the boys, girls cross country or any of the events like that. And this takes us into Thursday. A few sprinkles will be possible. Winds will be generally out of the east. So as we go long range, it's going to be warm for the ball games on Friday night, so no hot chocolate warnings out there. So as we go forward through Friday, and then into Saturday, a big dome or big ridge of high pressure is going to build up. So if you left your pool open, if you like the heat, going over to River Days in Mount Vernon, it's going to be hot over there for that. And then Sunday, there is a small chance for some showers. So remember, we're coming off a weekend where high temps, I'll take this full. High temps were only, I just stepped on my mic. High temps were only in the 70s. So a pattern change, 90 for your Thursday, Friday at 91. Look at that, Saturday. Boy, if you left your pool open, you're a genius. 97 on Sunday, 94 on Monday. Now, I've had some questions. What about the heat index? It's pretty much going to match the temperature. Hey, Justin Newman, a shout out to Dan Katz. Dan Katz's birthday was yesterday. Justin, way to do that. Dan, I texted him yesterday. He's doing well. Said he was watching the Cubs game. Not sure if they won, but the Cubs he watched, he's in his happy spot. And he retired 4 years ago. He still helps us out. And he's the MC of the Thunderbolts. I think he's signed up for another. I think he was on probation. He's off probation. No, I'm kidding. I just added that. No, of course, the Thunderbolts won the chip. So they won the whole thing. All right, Laura, thanks for watching from Dawson Springs. I'll just talk all day, so Mitch and Casey they'll be up in a moment. Have a great day.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us for the news portion of the 8:30 stream show. It is Wednesday, September 10th. I'm Mitch Carter.
That's right. I'm Casey Mason. We're happy to have you. Thanks for sticking around after Byron. Of course, you know the drill. He kicks things off with the latest in the forecast, and then we're going to recap a couple of headlines for you here this morning.
Absolutely. And kicking off here, something we followed now pretty much all week long since this weekend. We're going to get right into it here. Learning new information this morning as we continue to follow Saturday's chemical fire at a Newburgh facility. Now, our crews were at the scene there, and they say there was a lot of activity at PBTT yesterday. They say they saw several trucks with Tri-State Spill Response carrying these small plastic tanks, and they also saw trailers with different equipment and larger blue tank containers and pumps being hauled in the property, which truck driver we spoke with says were tanks used solely for water. So on Monday night, though, we saw several plastic barrels dropped off as well, with a tarp being placed over the area where that fire started. So as you can tell from this video here, from what our staff has seen out on the scene, a lot of activity going on there. But at this point, it's really kind of unclear what exactly workers are doing at the fire site. And our crew says they didn't see any EPA or other quote-unquote emergency officials there yesterday. But of course, like I said, there are a lot of activity going on.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add to that, neighbors who live close to the site there, that chemical fire, they're upset because they have a lot of unanswered questions right now. Of course, we have a few of those questions answered this morning here. Some say that, they're angry about the lack of information that's been released to the public about the details of the fire, what precautions they need to be taking now. It's been several days after this occurred. Some say that they're wondering if it's safe to have their air conditioning on, let their pets outside on the grass. Well, again, these are questions that we then asked on your behalf to the county commissioner's office, emergency management, EPA officials, and of course the county health department. Well, EPA officials say that air monitoring is showing that there are no levels of concern. So that is some good news there. Another really important note to make here is there's been no impact on the area's drinking water. We know some of that chemical residue went off there into that nearby pond, but that was contained. As far as drinking your water from the tap, you are good to go. They say that one residential property and a local church were both scheduled for assessment, so they're kind of getting the ball rolling here. Homeowners are asked to sign access agreements to allow the EPA onto their yards. So you do need to go fill out that form if you need your yard looked at or any property that you see that ash and debris. Officials say Warwick County is, though, still under a local emergency disaster declaration, which is going to remain in effect until further notice. So, of course, we'll keep you updated if that's lifted and kind of what the latest is here. So
absolutely. And shifting gears now kind of to the health side of things, the Warwick County Health Department says that potentially dangerous ash is the only remaining threat to the public's health. As Casey just said there, the air in the sky and the water you drink should be okay, but the ash right now is about all that's left they're still worried about. Dr. Kaylin Kari, the health officer at the health department, says the air quality in the affected areas has never been an issue. She understands people with chronic lung conditions had some concerns about the area, but she says she wants to reassure people that only the remaining ash on yards and other items could cause a health reaction at this point.
Touch the ash, or if it's a very breezy day and the ash starts to kind of blow up into your face, then yes, if you were to inhale it, it could cause an exacerbation of your chronic lung disease. But as long as you stay away from it and you do not touch it, the air quality is fine from the chemical fire itself.
So to reiterate there, she urges people not to touch the ash as the chemicals there could burn your skin, but as long as you're not physically breathing it in, the air itself is okay, once again, along with the water that you're drinking from your taps at home.
Definitely. Of course, the tri-state's seeing a lot of dry conditions. A burn ban is another thing we want to talk about here in this next story. They were saying, with these chemicals, the way they react with moisture in the air, it actually can help. But we're not really seeing any rain-ish on the forecast. Again, no meteorologist here, and they can't quite, exactly pinpoint these things. But overall, Byron's, calling for pretty dry conditions. And speaking of, that brings us to our next story where there has been a burn ban that's been issued over in Spencer County. So what that means is no open burning, including burn barrels and campfires. Now, we're told that the ban will remain in effect until further notice with no chance of rain in sight. We could see more burn notices, though, being issued as the week progresses here. Just kind of wrapping a bow on that story, with these conditions right now, no campfires. We know we're entering our fall season here. I love a good bonfire, but not going to be the week to do that. Again, it's going to be more like summer out there again this week. We already experienced our false fall, as I like to call it.
Yes.
So.
And every year with this kind of stuff, we always seem to find ourselves at least in a short period of drought there. And they talk about, no burns, no campfire, stuff like that. But a lot of times we see a lot of brush fires on the side of the highway, people throwing cigarettes out their window when you're driving. So if you're a smoker, be aware of that as it is so dry out there. See our monitor just reset?
I did. Look at that.
Means we're going too long. We're going to hustle this up
we need
here.
to hurry up here. Okay,
Anyways, it's dry. It's dry. Be aware of that.
One more story.
Yes. Coming up here. So talking about
right.
this, right? A major traffic alert on the Twin Bridges now, right? Starts today after it was delayed yesterday. We know KYTC crews are now expected to close one lane of the southbound bridge tonight. That is for that required bridge maintenance. Crews are scheduled to be out there from 6 p.m. to 7 in the morning. So this time tomorrow, that bridge will be back open. While we're on air for sunrise, it will still be closed. So if you have a commute before 7 a.m., keep that in mind. We're told this will happen nightly through October 19th. Right now, though, important note, there are no plans to alter traffic on the northbound bridge. I know last time they did this work, I want to say a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, they were doing kind of the same sort of work, and the traffic was so bad, they turned the northbound bridge into 3 lanes to have an extra way, and it was fine, but it was tight with semis and that kind of stuff.
I
so,
remember that.
Yeah,
it worked, but it was a little uncomfortable driving
Certainly,
across, maybe a little bit nervous. So.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, right now, no plans to do that, so we'll have to wait and see here. But once again, that runs through October 19th. So.
Okay. Yeah, just some heads up there, a couple headlines. Of course, we're continuing to follow this developing Warwick County story. Lots of information that still needs to come down, lots of details. We're asking the questions we can, doing our best to keep you updated both here and online. Go ahead and download the 14 News app to stay up to date as well. Overall, that'll about do it for us today on our news portion of today's streaming show. Anything you want to add?
I am good. Right now, it is 8:44 on the dot here on our Wednesday morning. Please go out there and enjoy the weather before it heats back up into the 90s next week, including on Sunday. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow.
See ya.